Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start our second lesson. In this lesson, we'll go through our LO2 learning outcome 2. My name is Anjum Satar and my email address anjum@ukversity.co.uk. Please, if you have any question, drop me email. So before starting this lesson, first of all, we recap what we learned during our first lesson and what we're supposed to be learned under LO2. So let's look, what we learned during our first lesson. So we are doing criminal law, which is everything on Moodle. So you can find, all the resources on Moodle. So this unit, we already covered 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Today lesson will go through 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. So in learning outcome 2 is understanding the element of different offenses and against the person. So we'll go through the component of murders, we'll go through voluntary, involuntary, manslaughter, assess the nature of the non-fatal offenses against the person, and we'll assess. So there is a command verb assess, analyze, yes, and assess. Critically inappropriate, so that's we need to go through. So you have a merit there and distension. If you want to word to word, so please you need to address, and we need to address 2.2 D1 2 D2 and plus merit as well. Yes, so that will lead you, we have to address all these. So today lesson will be focused on learning outcome 2. Further we have 5 learning outcome, and this is one of inductive contents what we supposed to be today lesson. And all these keywords, under learning outcome 2, all these keywords we're supposed to be learned. Yes, like a traffic acts there, various legislation, because if you don't fulfill or don't follow the legislation, you doing crime. We learn about the difference between criminal law. Yes, sir, what we learned last lesson? Do you remember anything?
Yeah, about like a punishment, felony,
We learn about punishment, we learn about felony. So what is, and do we know what is meant by felony?
Yeah, it's any crime, that is a danger crime and punishment is over 1 year.
Okay, that's come under felony laws or felony.
But serious crime.
Okay, good. Yes, you will know. Yes, great. Well done. So today we'll covering analyze the component of murder, illustrate the circumstances giving rise to voluntary and involuntary manslaughter, assess the nature of the non-fatal offenses against the person. That's all will be focused. So 2.1, we'll discuss, 2.1, analyze the component of murder. So interpretation of murder. Murder is the unlawful killing of human being. So that's, we need to, and the common law define the definition of the murder. The law define the fact that may lead to arrest, prosecution, and imprisonment. Yes, so your intention, yes, are you involved, are you assist even someone to murder someone?
Okay.
So for an individual to have committed the offense of a murder, they must be both the acts used and the mental elements, yes, intention to killing. So intention will come under the crime as well. Yes.
Okay.
What your intention? That's why there we always look at these things in act. So what this word? Can we pronounce it?
Accessories.
Yes. So actuaries. So convict a defendant of murder, the following must be provided. The victim must have been a person in being and excluded a baby in. Yes. So we can look around the victim. The victim must have died. A person is legally dead. Yes. For the purpose of the murder. And once their brain stem is died. Yes. That means the died, died definition, what is meant by the victim. And that must have been caused by the act or the omission of the defendant. Yes. Something, that can, especially in the doctors, doctors being charged to be murderers. So that's meant by, they must also be shown that the killing was unlawful.
Okay.
Like no is some, there's a lot of discussion, some ethical issue. Like some people they say, I'm really feeling pain is a cancer patient and various other patients. Yes, we need to look around in law, like the abortion or various other cases. So we need to look around after 26 week or is what how many weeks, huh? So we need to follow those laws as well. That's come under the murders as well. Okay, so we need to look around mens rea. It must be proved that beyond the reasonable doubt. Okay, always we learn about bundle of evidence. Yes, we need beyond the doubt. There won't be any doubt. Yes, then you can charge. Otherwise, you can't charge someone. Defendant has intention. Yes, so to
Yeah.
kill or to cause grievous bodily harm. GBH. Yes, if the intention to cause GBS can be proved, and this will be sufficient to prove the mental elements of the offense. And this means that someone may be convicted of the murder if the victim dies as the result of the defendant unlawful actions. Unlawful action. I think so. We discussed about like if somebody asks you to give the painkiller, can we give the painkiller?
No.
No, because you can say the painkiller there in the yes first aid box, but you can't really
By hand.
give them by yourself, huh?
Physically.
There are there is a law, for this, so we need to look around. Uh, Causation in the criminal liability, so is referred to the inquiry as whether the defendant conduct or omission caused the harm to damage or damager. Must be established in all result crimes, and in the criminal liability is divided into two: factual, yes, and the
Factual.
legal. So what we can say, this term is referred to the inquiry, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, whether the defendant conduct or omission caused by harm or damage to someone.
Okay.
And then the factual or the legal, yes.
Yes.
Even something even not defined the law, yes. You need to be look around in factual, and you need to look around in the rules as well. Yes, we have a case law there, RV White. So it's a separate case on Moodle as well. Please, good to be read those. What is about the factual? Factual is required to prove that the defendant conducted was necessary condition of the consequences. So consequences. Factual is established by applying the but for the test, so we need to look around different tests to establish the crime.
Okay.
So this asks, but for action to be defendant, would be result have occurred? If yes, the result would have occurred in any events and defendant is not liable.
Okay.
If not, the defendant is liable as if said their action was factually caused as a result in this case law. Yes. So defendant put some poison in his mother's milk with the intention of killing her. Yes. The mother took a few sips and went to sleep and never awoke up. Yes. So medical report revealed that she died from the heart attack.
Yeah.
And not from the
Poison.
So the defendant was not liable for her murder, as his act of the poisoning the milk was not the cause of the death.
Okay.
He was liable to attempt
For attempt,
yes,
not poison.
not the poison. So the case established, but for test. So we are testing here. Would the result have occurred but the action of the defendant? If the answer is yes, the defendant is not liable. Is it make sense?
Yeah, understand.
So okay, good. Then we're looking the legal. Yes, what is the legal there now? So legal is required to prove that the defendant conduct was sufficient connected its occurrence. Huh? So we're looking now. Its simple term, the legal caution is we can look around the required that a harm must be result from the culpable act. Yes,
Yeah.
we look in this law, and however, this does not apply where the offense is one strict liability. So we look in this case, are we? Yes. So
Yeah.
defendant had driving a horse, caught, caught down the road without the holding on the rein. Yes, like we can say in Punjabi lagama. So
Yeah.
the child run in the front of the court and was killed. The defendant was not liable as he would not have been able to stop the cart in time even he had been holding the yes.
Yes.
So the cause is authority for the point that the result must be caused by the culpable act. Yes. Here
Yes.
culpable act was not holding the rein, which was not the cause of the death. Yes, if the cause of the death, then it's fine. So defendant was charged with the gross negligence manslaughter. Yes.
Okay.
So
Involved.
like mm, you should like maybe you're supposed to be if you have a little ones, you're supposed to be put the belts. Yes.
Yeah.
So you said it. You not really because you're a driver. When you driver, you can be charged as a manslaughter. Yes, this driving and all of this. Huh? If and someone died in the action. But if you met the health and safety laws, then is won't. Huh?
Okay.
Misread the train timetable and ordered the work to be done, like in this case. Huh?
Yeah.
And when the train was due, in addition, the lookout the man was not standing at the correct distance, give adequate warning, the driver was not paying sufficient attention to stop the train in time. Yes. The defendant argued that if the lookout, the man, and the driver were going their job correctly, the incident would not have occurred. Yes, held the
Okay.
defendant conviction was upheld, and the defendant action need have only cause. Yes,
Yes.
liability can be raised provided the defendant act was more than the minimum case. Yes, so
Okay.
in that case the applicant was driving a dual carriageway when the man stepped into the road right in the front. He was unable to stop and the man was killed. The applicant was not speeding and had not anyway been driving yes, recklessly or without care. Two
Okay.
witnesses gave the evidence that it would have been impossible to avoid hitting the man giving the closeness to the car when they stepped out. However, at the time of the incident, the applicant had no driving license or insurance. So he has convicted causing death by driving without license under the Road Act in the Road Traffic Act 1988. Yes.
Yes.
So he appealed on the two grounds that the offense could not be committed without the proof of the fault in the cause of the death. He failure to have the license and the insurance fault, but wasn't. Yes, was not
It was
that.
the. Yeah.
So was not the cause. Yes. Alternately, his driving and although the cause, that's we need to look around. Any question there? Appeal dismissed and the conviction was upheld in that case. Okay. Any
Okay.
question there?
No. No.
Okay, then this is again, there are the different cases, which we can look around the criminalities, but there are the two we discuss about the legal and what other was?
Factual.
Yes, so we need to look around these two and they have all, related to an
Yeah.
intention to murder, direct intent, oblique intent, and subjective test. Huh? That's we
Okay.
need. What was the intention? Intention required to high degree of the fault, all levels of man's age. Yes. So
Yeah.
direct intent can be said to be exist where the defendant embark on the course of the conduct and bring about the result which facts occur. Yes. Oblique intent, it can be said exist where the defendant embark on the course of the conduct to bring about the desired result. Yes, subjective. We know the subjective and objective.
Yeah, yes,
Subjective is concerned whether the defendant did foresee the degree of the probability. We know the degree of probability. Probability is a risk. Yes.
yes,
So, like, what is the risk of the rain, or what is the probability of the rain today? So, 80% will be rain, 30% won't be rain. So, we can look around the probability. Probability is considered as a risk.
yes,
And but it's not probability is not always risk is a negative. Is risk can be positive as well. Yes. But
yes,
here we're looking the criminality side, so we need to look around what is a criminal. So we have a good few case laws, yes. So we can look around to test these three terminologies, and these being the case law being tested, and the court prove these. These are the evidence, to charge someone murder or not in those cases. Okay, mandatory life sentence and the issues. So what are the mandatory sentence for the murder is a life imprisonment.
yes.
Yes. How long life imprisonment? Do we know?
14 years.
Yes, approximate, because it varies the country to country's laws and how serious that person is against the, yes.
Yes.
So we need to look around the age and various other factors, because the judge look, like in this first case, the two applicant and the, yes, Bannister and the victim were the driven by M is isolated area where they assault the victim and M killed him. Yes. Similarly, the three jointly strangled, yes, another victim, and the third victim, yes, to escape, and they were charged with the murder on the two counts, yes, with
Yes.
the conspiracy to murder one count. We heard about the conspiracy to murder or conspiracy
Yes.
to drug dealing or those sort of
Yeah.
immigration crimes and various other crimes. Feared their own lives. If they did not, yes, M directed, and they have convicted in three counts. So in the second case, the two applicants, Burke and the Clarkson, were charged with the murder of the man killed by the. So Burke argued that they agreed to kill the victim out of the fear that, yes. So maybe someone. So basically, whatever in the criminal laws is the evidence, because we need to be charged anyone, So these cases were held and been charged, So we need to look around the outcome of these cases. Any question?
No, that's fine.
Okay, next is the loss of control. If we can lose the control and somebody being murdered, yes, manslaughter, like human emotions.
Yes.
Introduce section 51 of the Corners and the Justice Act in 2009. As a person who kills or was part to be killing may be convicted as a manslaughter rather than the murders were they existed. Yes, a loss of the self-control. A loss of the self-control had a qualifying trigger in those cases, yes. Defects and the age with the normal degree of the tolerance, yes.
Yes.
How much restraint, like, with legal reason, man was, and the youngest, I think, so was charged 12-year-old in the
Okay.
past. So involuntary manslaughter, constructive manslaughter. So is a form of involuntary manslaughter is that unlawful killing has taken place where the defendant lacked the main areas of murder. Yes, rea of
Yes.
murder. The elements of constructive manslaughter. These are the case. Yes,
Yes.
there must be unlawful act, and there must be dangerous. Yes, in these cases, an unlawful dangerous act caused the death. Yes, so we have a three case here. Any question?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Involuntary gross negligence. Do we know what is the we learn about the gross negligence in employment law. Yeah.
Yeah.
So gross negligence is a manslaughter is the form of involuntary manslaughter where the defendant is ostensibly acting lawfully. Yes.
Okay.
Gross negligence is manslaughter can said to be applied where the defendant committed a lawful act in a such a way as to render the action criminal or the committed by omissions. Huh?
Okay.
If I mean, you wasn't aware of the law, you wasn't aware of the medicine, how much will supposed to be give, yes, how many times you supposed to be give, yes,
Yeah.
you gave, or you leave the medicine in front of the kids and kids drink it, yes,
Yeah.
because in this country, maybe in our country, not being charged, but here the people being charged these, because
Yeah.
the kids, it's your responsibility, and if you lose it, yes, anything happen, so the court can charge. Is it accidentally, what care you have? So that's why the some these role is very very sensitive, huh?
Yeah.
Especially in teaching and various other professions even. Yes, law stated that the cause should not longer apply since the underlying statutory provision on which the rested have been reappealed by the road traffic accident. So these are related gross negligence. Na? So like it can be, you not clear the windows glass, yes, and you hit
Yeah.
someone. That can become we need to look around the scenario. Next we look in 2.3, assess the nature of the non-fatal offenses against the person. Yeah. So we can look around these, yes. So assault, yes,
Important. Yeah.
and
That.
common assault, batteries, yes,
Yeah.
AR infections or whatever, forces, violence, all these, come. Then assault,
Yeah.
yes,
So.
occasionally we can look around actually, yes, bodily harm, warning, yes, someone.
Yeah. Actually, actual bodily harm. Yeah.
So,
Warning
yes,
with
these are
intent.
all. So, increasing seriousness or decreasing the prevalence. Yes.
Yes.
Any question there?
No. That's fine.
Okay, common assault. An assault is committed where the defendant intentionally or riskily cause the victim to be apprehended and immediately unlawful personal violence. Huh? True of assault apprehend the victim need not to be put in a fear, but must be aware of they are about to be subjective to the violence. Yes, the
Okay.
victim does not anticipate unlawful personal violence, and there is a no assault. Yes,
Yes.
where the victim apprehend and the immediately unlawful personal violence, an assault will be committed, and even there was a no factual threats of the violence. So most of the solicitor, they some background is in police they used to work or in a government. They have that sort of knowledge as well. Huh? How and then they do the normally degree in criminal law, or they
Yeah.
specialist in the criminal law because it's quite I mean lot of evidence required. It's not a easy. Huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's very hard.
Especially the action because you need bundle of evidence to charge someone. Must
Yeah.
cause the victim to be apprehended immediately unlawful personal violence. Yes. Originally, it was thought that the only conduct could amount to be assault. In that case, yes, words can be negate and assault. Yes.
Yeah.
Immediate the threat of the future violence will not amount of assault. However, the court have adopted a more liberal approach. So we learn about liberal approach. Yes.
Yes.
Sometime look around because that's why the judge there to make professional judgment as well.
Yeah.
Lie there, but to apply in certain conditions. Unlawful, yes. Independent as a lawful excuse to use the force, like in
Mm-hmm.
police, yes, in circumstances. What was
Reason.
action will be, especially you may be heard about Hillsborough disaster in back, I think so was 99, 2000 in Sheffield. Yes, the
Yeah.
football. A lot of people in Hillsborough is one of the place, in
Yes.
Sheffield. Okay, the personal violence, the term personal violence can be misleading in the victim need to be only apprehend the level of the force, the amount of technical battery is any touching will be, so that's
Yeah.
in especially in police cases carry on happening. Men's way of assault, this mens rea of assault is an intention to cause the victim to be apprehend immediately unlawful personal violence or being rigorously to be whether such apprehension is caused. Yeah. So
Yes.
the case versus in this, these establish the subjective readiness apply non-fatal offenses against the person. Any question?
No, no, no.
So please, we need to look around the case, some case laws. Yes. Battery, what is meant by unlawful application of force by the defendant upon the victim? Yes.
Okay.
Unlawful. Yes, that's called battery. To reuse of batteries is meant by application of the force need not to be direct. Unlawful if the defendant has lawful excuse to use the force, action will not amount to be batteries. Yes, because the battery is unlawful. Huh?
Yes.
The terminology. Reasonable punishment of the child in that case, yes, is
Yes.
act where the defendant act in the self-defense or the prevention of crime or where victim consent. Yes. So
Okay.
that's we need to look around and we have a case law. This we need to read. Physical force, any intentionally or recklessly touching another person without the consent of the person or without the lawful excuse. Huh? It need not necessary to be hostile, rude, and aggressive. Yes. Here we're
Yes.
looking again, battery intention to apply unlawful physical force or being rigorously to be whether such force is applied. So that's we need to look around. Actually, bodily harm. Actually, bodily harm is offense to committed an assault occasionally actual bodily harm. Huh?
Yeah.
So assault or the battery to the constitute offense under S47 in the law section of the criminal law. Yes. So
Yes.
like in other part of the world, we have a penal courts and various other courts. Yes. And we have, but in English system, we have a criminal law and we have a case law as well. Huh?
Yes.
Within the army. So those all can be used to make
It's
judgments.
like the common law, isn't it?
Yes, we call common law here. Huh? Well done. So actual bodily harm include any hurt or the injury, yes, calculated to interfere with the health or the comfort of the victim. Huh? That can
Yes.
be lead to. So when we of ABH, which is yes, actual bodily harm. That's the abbreviation. Huh?
Yeah.
ABH. Intention or the rigorous subjective to be assault or the batteries. Yes, battery mean we said illegal. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
punishment to somebody. There is a no requirement defendant intend or it was rigorously to injury or in. So that's we can grudges bodily harm GBS. Yes, whoever shall unlawful precious wound or inflict or any grievous bodily harm or any other person. Yes.
Yes.
Either with or without weapon. Yes, even without weapon, you don't have a weapon, but you're doing even even the abuse. Yes, that can be harm to individual, huh? The minds, and so that can be even charged, huh? In some cases. Unlawful GBS cover who are acting in the self-defense prevention of the crime and limited circumstances if the victim has consent surgical interference and where the injury is result from the properly conducted, like someone killed to thief, yes, and you did, in your prevention. So normally that's even the guy being charged here in UK back in 2010. Yes, the robbers came and he hit the robber and the robber died. Huh?
Okay.
And that was, because they said, that wasn't, you should uh defense but not kill, yes, to someone, and that guy was killed.
Okay.
Wound, a woman exists where there is a break in the continuity of the skin, yeah. That's the other cases, yeah.
Yes.
Bodily harm, anything is related to body, yeah. Body harm mean really serious harm, huh? if the victim is particularly vulnerable like a child, not sound minded,
Yeah.
and the jury is entitled to take into. So these are again bodily harm. There are a lot of the cases. Yes, we can look
Yeah.
around some case laws. All about these are the bodily harm, some cases. So please look around these, the case laws. Give us these, terminologies. So GPS, we know, yes, grudges, bodily harm, all these, and different section of the law, and is Act, 18, 1961. Whoever shall unlawful shift by any means, yes, whatsoever, would be caused by yes bodily harm to any person with the intent to do bodily harm to any person, that can become under the crime.
Yeah.
So we need to look around like police, like stopping and assaulting, and yes. So that's these the different occasions that need to be looked around. Is it for the law and order, and how much the force being given in, or how much will be delegated in is it a crime or not?
Yeah.
Protection from Harassment Act. So Harassment Act is 1997. Of course, you can't really harass someone. It's come under the civil and criminal as well. We need to look around if somebody, how much we harass and what causes, harassment. Defense, yes.
Yeah.
We can look around those, evidence, and we can defense it, and see, this is all about, so we learn about harassment, we learn about, yes, three major category of. Any question?
No.
Okay. So today lesson, guys, we learn about the element of different offenses. There can be more elements we can dig out in the following lesson. But today lesson we understand the some, the elements, and we learn about cautions, yes, and
Yeah.
we learn about in legal cautions, yes,
Yeah.
and we learn about different body harms and different harms, yes, and all this we discuss about voluntary, involuntary manslaughter and various, and we look some case laws, and please other case laws refer in these slides. Please go through on Moodle and go through these case laws. If you have any question, please drop me email, and I hope so I'll speak you all during next lesson. Thanks for
Okay.
attending. Thanks for listening. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.